One thing that I want you to note here is the speed in which all of this has happened. The 20th century saw a lot of changes to the way these laws were viewed. Things started to kind of turn in the 1950s when the legal organization that was responsible for drafting the Model Penal Code voted to decriminalize consensual sodomy in the resulting code, which was used as a model for many state legislatures. Then in the 60s and 70s, the Supreme Court basically said that the Due Process Clause of the 14th Amendment prevents the government from going into people's bedrooms. Some states raged against these changes, though, saying that they promoted homosexuality and unnatural conduct. Think, the states were giving that as an objection not too long ago. Then a landmark case in 1986, Bowers versus Hardwick. I won't go into details, but in short, a police officer arrested two homosexuals, one of them Hardwick, in their home as they were in violation of Georgia's sodomy laws. This case was brought before the Supreme Court, which upheld the Georgia sodomy law. The court basically said that the concept of liberty upon which this country was founded, and is of course extended to all, does not thereby extend a fundamental right to homosexuals to engage in consensual sodomy. The court also recognized that states had sodomy laws in place since the nation's founding, and they shut down Hardwick's argument that this was all happening in the privacy of his home. They maintained that victimless crimes are still crimes. If you do drugs in your living room, you're still breaking the law. The Supreme Court said, in effect, this is wrong. We don't care if it's in the privacy of your home. It's wrong. We don't care what rights and liberties you think you have. This doesn't give you the right to engage in immorality. And this was 1986. How quickly, again, things have changed. Another landmark case, Lawrence v. Texas, 2003. Again, the details not important, but the sodomy law came into question again, this time in Texas. And it went all the way to the Supreme Court, where they kind of said that all of this anti-sodomy stuff was simply because of the views of some, and it shouldn't be applied to everyone. The court said Bowers, the case that we just talked about, was not correct when it decided, and it is not correct today. It ought not to remain binding precedent. Bowers v. Hardwick should be and now is overruled. And then the court eliminated Texas's sodomy law and laws like it. How things had changed in just 17 years. And then what happened in 2015? Just 12 years after Obergefell v. Hodges. The Supreme Court ruled that state bans on same-sex marriage and on recognizing same-sex marriages duly performed in other jurisdictions are unconstitutional under the Due Process and Equal Protection Clauses of the 14th Amendment of the United States Constitution.